Hi everyone, it's Cherie from Paper Pieces and Leftovers. So I'm back with Fester from Frightful Family from treasureboxdesigns.com. And in Cricut Design Space, the width is 6.25 and the height is 4.878. The reason I went with that sizing is because I did not want him to be huge compared to the rest of the file. Let's go ahead and get him going. So the peak on the shoes, excuse me, I'm gonna put towards the outer edge just because that's the larger part of the shoe, at least from what I can see. And it doesn't really matter how you glue these together, I guess, as long as you get the same end result, because there is no base. I know a lot of the patterns and were actually spoiled, and I put way too much glue on that. We're spoiled with the bases. I know even I've gotten used to having bases at my disposal. They do take a lot of time to make yourself. And by that, it would be, you know, the peach base where then you build up. You would put the feet on and then the coat and the head on last. We don't have that. So these are basically blind glue where it's any order you get it in, as long as it looks like the finished piece, then I guess you're doing a-okay, right? All right, here's the other piece to his shoe. And I had a little piece of glue on my finger, which I will take that off. Just turn it over, make sure that I don't have a huge lip on it. All right. Those are done. Now his jacket comes in 4 parts. This one, I'm gonna put the neck as the support anchor just because we don't have much to hide it, and his head's gonna go across there. So let's glue his arms on first, and it's gonna be the same thing. I'm just gonna take it to about there and right down the side, and it's gonna go behind his coat. My house is very quiet. It feels weird. Both of the puppies are sleeping. One is 10 months old. Nope, I lied. How old is she? She's 9 months old. And the other is 9 weeks old, almost 10 weeks. They annoy each other, but then they can't live without each other. Go figure. But my older one, she's a little over 5 pounds. And for some reason, she thinks she's as light as a feather and jumps on the baby, who is 1 pound 3 ounces. She's a wee one. And you'll hear her yelp, the baby. She's not hurt, but it's just scary. All right, now we're going to glue the top part of the coat on. I just want to make sure I get the edges so it doesn't lift up at all. And this one, because I squished it, we're going to have to separate it a little bit so that way that stays even. So what I'm going to do is the first half, if it would stop scooching, and then the second half. And this is going to be covered up with this behind it, the gap. But I just want to make sure that my seam, the gap in the middle, is even. And now we're going to glue this onto this. So the coat onto the base. Once again, I just kind of want to make sure I get my edges real good. That way there's no lifting. And that's just going to line up at the bottom. And it's up to you if you want to put his shoes in between or behind. I'm going to go with behind. Just that way I can get them in on there real good. And we're just gonna glue onto here, and that's probably way too much, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'd rather have plenty than not enough. I'm gonna put them together like so. I'm going to overlap them a little bit more, actually quite a bit. Let me check this way, actually. Yeah, we'll go that way. So the bigger round part, I put in the middle. That way then they could come out of the bottom and I didn't have to worry about them going so high up to even out with the bottom of it. And this is what the back looks like. Now we're gonna put his collar on. That way we can attach his head and his nose, and then we'll put the anchor onto the back, the neck, even though he doesn't have one. That saves me from having to grab a piece of scratch paper or paper from my stash and cutting one. The reason I'm putting this on before the buttons is to make sure that my buttons go a decent way. I'm gonna start with the middle one. I don't want them too high where they didn't end up. If this isn't on, I didn't want one right up there and then one not low enough. He only has 3 buttons. I know Wednesday has 4. And we'll get these on. Funny thing is, I've never seen this movie. We watched movies growing up, but I always worked a lot of hours. And honestly, I don't even remember when Addams Family came out, but I haven't seen the movie. I know who Wednesday is. I know who Cousin It is, only because I used to have so much hair growing up. That's what they would call me, as Cousin It. I used to brush it forward just to be funny. We're gonna put that on there. And now I'm going to turn him over. And this is going to be where I put the neck on, just, even though actually, no, I'm going to use a larger piece. I am going to cut a piece. I just want some more stabilization behind him. Just so turning the pages, his head doesn't end up bent. Let me trim that. I just don't want it showing from behind. Perfect. Oh, sorry. I apologize to my camera. Whoops. Let's put his nose on, and he is done. I will do the shading, and then I will go ahead and get him posted. The final picture once I decide where I'm going to shade. If I could stop dropping things. We're just going to slide his nose on. I did not give him eyelashes. I know him and Lurch don't have any. And as I don't know if they have them in the movie or not, but here he is finished. I'm going to add some shading you know, at least to the bottom of his shoes. And I'm going to ink the top of his head since I forgot he doesn't have hair. I did not do it. All right, guys, I will see you in the next video. Take care.